This is a film about Abe Hall, who died in 2009, aged 95. Here in a rare video clip, Abe is learning to walk again after having broken his hip in 2005. We have lots of photos but little else visual to remember him by. However, there is a radio interview from around 1990 that makes a splendid soundtrack for the selection of photos that follows.
Now tell us a little bit about the allotment site you've got at Capel.
Well, the allotment site at Capel was established in 1976 when the Capel St Mary Parish Council purchased the site and established it as an allotment site. The association was founded at almost the same time, and Gordon here, of course, is one of the founder members of the association. The purpose of the association is, first of all, to take care of the allotment site. Secondly, to assist and support all our members, not only the allotment holders, all our members, in their gardening activities. Thirdly, to make sure that our members give and get the advantage of our bulk purchases and any other discount facilities we can arrange. And finally, to arrange for shows and promotions.
Now,
and shows, of course, are the main item this afternoon.
Yeah, because we've got your flower and produce show at the weekend. What I must ask, first of all, as interested in what you've just said, is why would somebody be a member of the association if they didn't actually have one of your allotments?
Because we are not just merely interested in the allotment site. That is our prime consideration, but we give a service to the community. We give that service through our stores hut, in which we are able to give all our members the advantage of greatly reduced prices on their horticultural sundries. We are affiliated to the Royal Horticultural Society, which means that we have certain privileges there, such as reduced tickets for Chelsea. All our members they've only got to come to me and get a ticket, which gives them free entry into Wisley, free entry to any of the horticultural shows in Westminster. And also, we are members of the National Association or National Society for Allotment and Leisure Gardeners, and through that we are able to give our members the advantage of the seed scheme, which enables them to produce and to get seeds from us at greatly reduced prices.
How many members do you have?
About 300.
320, actually.
So quite a few. And as membership secretary, Abe, you're spot on the ball there, aren't you?
Absolutely.
320 members, you know all of them. Do you take entries from all around the county?
We have done, yes. It varies from year to year, of course, but we've taken them from 40 or 50 miles away, Abe. We've taken some entries from quite a distance.
Yes, one year there were some entries from Blackheath, and in fact one of the ladies won the best in the show from Blackheath.
What was that?
It was a beautifully hand-worked quilt.
Do you get involved with other allotment associations?
Yes, to some extent, but mainly through the National Society of Allotment and Leisure Gardeners, because they have a conference every year, which I have now attended since 1983. And oddly enough, one of the disappointing things about it is that Suffolk is very poorly represented. In fact, at every conference that I've been to, I've been the only representative from Suffolk. Whereas you get places like Yorkshire and other places throughout the country are very, very strongly represented.
Is that because there are more allotments in those parts of the country? I mean, is Suffolk... are there a lot of allotments, a lot of allotment associations, or do most people have their own gardens?
I wouldn't say necessarily there were more allotments, but there is a great deal more enthusiasm in other areas.
We're a bit laid back, are we?
Yes, allotment holders are a peculiar class, really, because they don't take a great deal of interest in matters which are vital to their own interests. It's only when something goes wrong, when there's a sudden surge, the council want to put up the rent to some phenomenal figure, or else they're given notice to quit, that they suddenly sit up and say, oh dear, why doesn't somebody do something about it?
Well, that sounds like a summary of the British way of life, to be honest.
Sadly, yes.
So what sort of things have you been, sorting out in the last year? Have there been problems? Lots of roadworks going on. Has that affected you?
No, not in the least. We haven't been concerned with the roadworks, apart from the fact that there's a little bit more traffic coming down the road that bypasses the allotments, because otherwise we have an ideal site. It is very nicely located, it is very peaceful, and in fact one can go over there and enjoy the peace. And I think I can summarise that. I've taken a little verse from something that I wrote years ago. It's only one very short verse. Allotment holders are the wiser. There is no better tranquilizer than a little piece of land to work at ease with one's own hand, where one can share a flask of tea, enjoy the peace and feel so free. And I think that just summarises it. As regards to the exchange of views, because I spend an awful lot of time on the site, I rather tend to be regarded as a sort of local Jeff Hamilton or Peggy Cole, which is totally wrong, because I'm by no manner of means an expert. In fact, even the venerable gentleman Alan Bloom up at Bressingham will not accept being called an expert.
But it's the experience, isn't it, Abe?
Oh, yes, but the way I get over it is this: if people come and ask me questions about what they should do, I say, well, look, this is what I do. And I just hope that they don't ask me whether it works or not, because 9 times out of 10 it doesn't.
It's a funny thing, isn't it, gardening? There are presumably different views on how you can do things, and you can get perhaps conflicting advice, but then it's just a matter of trying it and seeing what happens.
Oh yes, exactly. That's why it is. With our seed scheme, our members don't get a nice pretty catalogue with lots of blurb in it. As a matter of fact, Roy Lacey wrote recently in the East Anglia Times, and he said that it was an interesting possibility that the people who wrote up the blurb for estate agents were the same people who wrote up the seed catalogues. I think there must be something in this. But he said it, not me.
Yes, fair comment. Okay, Gordon and Abe, thank you very much indeed, and I hope everything goes well at the weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We will always remember Abe for his poetry, and luckily I have a clip of him reciting a verse he wrote about the star at Harome to end this film.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how we love you where you are, nestling in the Harome star, in the restaurant, in the bar. Coming they from far and wide, gourmets, in their taste take pride, albeit roasted or stir-fried, they must be truly satisfied. Now recipes for dishes that will please the gormandizer are fashioned with considerable care, and what at first appears to be a simple appetizer is often an elaborate
affair. To conclude, another verse of Abe's. A poet call me not, I pray, because with verse I merely play. To please myself I must explain, and get not an addled brain.